I'm Rebecca of Pocketful of Posies. Today's project is the next in my series for Relaxed Regency, and it is my new Regency dress. I'm very excited to share this with you. Now, this dress had some issues that I didn't discover until the end, and they were all my own fault. So stay tuned for my own personal struggles and pitfalls with this costume, and stay tuned for how it all ended up. So without further ado, let's get into it. Here we go. I used black snail patterns number 0119 and started with a mock-up of the bodice. Hercules had important shenanigans to perform. I felt confident enough with the fit to get started with my pink cotton voile. The skirt pattern pieces need to be lengthened 39 inches. I measured and marked my cutting line. Then I cut out my pieces. I took in these gussets as well. I had already taken these in. I just have darts. They are not even, but we are definitely approaching the way I want them to fit. The biggest thing that I changed was I had boning going from here all the way up, which I think was definitely adding to the smashing factor. So I took it out and made it smaller, and so now I have it stopping here, right under the bust. I think that really improves the fit and improves the look. We are definitely lifted better than we were before. It's definitely sitting better. So, yay! I used hand quilting thread to make a sloppy buttonhole in the center of the front bodice piece for a drawstring. Then I folded it over twice so the buttonhole is facing the inside and there is a casing for the drawstrings. I whip stitched it down by hand. Hercules supervised. I used my bodkin to thread the drawstring in the front bodice. Then I tacked the drawstrings in place. I next folded over the back neckline to make drawstring casings there too. Because I wanted to keep the sheer quality of the fabric, I chose not to line the bodice, so I strayed from the instructions a bit. I also turned the center back in twice by 1/4 inch. I pressed my pieces and the turned edges. Then I whip stitched them down. I tried to make my stitches as small as possible on the outside. I began pinning the bodice pieces together, starting with back to side back. Then I sewed them together with the machine. Next, I pinned the fronts to the side front pieces. I followed that by pinning the side backs to the side fronts. Making sure I was pinning correctly. Then back to the machine to sew those seams. I threaded the drawstrings through the back casings. Then I pinned the shoulder seams. I folded and pinned the neckline on the front side pieces. Next, I trimmed one side of the inside seam allowances and folded the other side to cover the raw edges. I flat felled all of the bodice seams. Then I got some love from Thor and Loki. My next step was sewing gathering stitches on the top of the sleeves. I pinned and basted a box pleat in the center bottom of each sleeve. I pinned the sleeve seams and sewed them. Then I sewed the seams on the sleeve bands. I pinned the bands to the sleeves, right sides together. Then I sewed them together. Lucius was very interested in my progress, or just needed attention. So much so that, oops! I trimmed the seam allowance on the sleeve bands. I ironed my seam allowance on the sleeves. Next, I whip stitched the sleeve bands to the inside of the sleeves. Then I pinned the sleeves into the bodice. I adjusted the gathers at the top of the sleeves to fit. Then I sewed those sleeves in. To the skirt! I had to piece the skirt because I didn't have enough width for my back skirt panel. I pinned those added pieces to the front skirt and sewed them in. Coffee break! I zigzagged the raw edges of the non-selvage skirt seams and then pinned the back skirt piece to the added pieces. I sewed them together. I ironed those selvage edge seams open. Next, I cut a 10-inch opening in the center back skirt. I pinned and sewed a tiny hem on that opening. I used this pink cotton broadcloth for the waistband lining. I, again, didn't have enough width, so I cut it not on the fold, and so I just have a seam at center front on the inside. I had to piece the fashion fabric waistband too, but I added pieces at the back so there's not a seam at center front on the outside. I folded the seam allowance over on the waistband and waistband lining and ironed it. Then I pinned the waistband to the bodice, matching marks. I gathered the front bodice to fit, and I adjusted the gathers and pinned it into place. And then I sewed the bodice to the waistband. Next, I gathered the skirt. Then I pinned the skirt to the waistband, adjusted the gathers, and sewed it on. My next step was pinning the waistband lining to the inside. I used a whip stitch to secure the waistband lining. I inserted narrow twill tape for a drawstring. I sewed a narrow hem on the skirt. Then I trimmed the seam allowance on the arm side and zigzagged the raw edges. And was done! Or so I thought. So I just went to try my dress on. And I put it on Freya. And it wouldn't come together in the back. Now, I had tried the bodice on before I put the waistband and the skirt, and it fit then. So I'm not entirely sure what happened, but this is what I think happened. I must have cut, well, remember I had to piece the waistband. And I must have done the wrong length. That is all I can think of. I have no idea. I have no idea why it does not fit. But it doesn't fit. Like, it doesn't come together. So what I think happened was, you know, the bodice is gathered onto the waistband, which I did. And then I think I must have cut out the wrong waistband size. And then when I gathered the bodice to the waistband, now it's too small. And then the waistband has like 4 inches or 5 inches. It's a lot. And I don't know how I did this so wrong, I guess. But we all make mistakes, right? And I must have made a mistake, and I can admit that. So I don't have any fabric left of this, and just scraps. That's about it. So, and this fabric is very delicate. I ripped a little piece at some point trying to get it to fit. This right here, it kind of ripped away from the waistband. So I need to fix that. And so that means I don't want to completely unpick the waistband and put in a new one. I don't have enough fabric anyway to do that. I am in problem solving mode. And also the sleeves are huge. They're really long and really huge. Maybe the pattern's messed up, but I don't want to blame the pattern because I know that I often make mistakes. And I think, okay, so problem solving mode. This is what I'm thinking. I might have enough scraps. This is about the biggest piece I have left. And it's folded. So I could cut this and add to the back. I mean, then I would have a big added piece in the back. Piecing is period, but the is it that period? That I'm not sure. That's all. That's the only thing I can think of in this moment without taking the whole thing apart. So I really thought I was done with this. I actually I haven't taken pictures of it yet because it's been cold and rainy, but yeah, I thought I was done. I thought all I needed to do was, I was putting it on Freya to check the hem length, and I need to take the hem up just a teeny tiny bit, and I also need to take the petticoat hem up a teeny tiny bit. But yeah, I was putting it on her and I was like, what is happening? So there we are. Wish me luck. I added a panel to each side of the back opening. Then I unpicked the back skirt from the waistband and repinned it to fit the new pieces and put in new drawstrings. And here's where it ended up. Not dreadful, and I can live with it. I'm making a Spencer to wear over it, so the wonkiness should be covered. Then it was really done. Overall, I am happy with it. I don't tend to dwell on mistakes, and it will work just fine with a Spencer. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you spending your time with me. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't. If you'd like to be notified whenever I upload, you can hit that little bell icon and comment down below with what you thought about this project. If you'd like to support the channel any further, I have a Ko-fi account and that is also linked down below. Please join me next time for the culmination of my Relaxed Regency ensemble. I will be sharing a sleeveless Spencer and a reticule. So please join me again next time, and I will see you again on our next sewing adventure. Bye!